What's up guys? So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how you can buy and sell shares through the Commsec brokerage platform. To get started with buying and selling shares through Commsec, you have to set up basically two accounts. The first is a brokerage account listed here under Australian shares, and the second is a CDIA account. A CDIA account is effectively a net bank or any other regular bank account that you use as part of transferring funds to and from Commsec. What this allows you to do is buy or sell shares through the Commsec brokerage platform, where the money from buying and selling shares gets both paid into and deducted from your CDIA account respectively. To transfer funds into your CDIA account, once it's all set up, you just transfer the funds using the BSB and account number. From there, when you do eventually go to buy and sell shares, it will then automatically be linked back to the CDIA, in which case it will be credited accordingly. Now, before we make our very first trade in Commsec, it's important that you understand the fees and charges that are involved with buying and selling shares. These are referred to as brokerage fees, and you can find them here on the Commsec website. Really, the main thing you need to look out for is the trade execution fees in this top row here. These are the fees that are associated with buying and selling shares online when you are using your Commsec or CDIA account. On the right hand side here, we have the brokerage fee, depending on the size of the trade that you're executing. In this instance, a brokerage fee will cost $10, and that's if your trade value or the total amount of shares you're purchasing or selling is up to and including $1,000. Anything over $1,000 and up to $10,000 inclusive, you'll be charged a one-off brokerage fee of $19.95. Anything over $10,000 and up to $25,000 inclusive, you'll be charged a one-off brokerage fee of $29.95. And then anything beyond that, where the trade value is over $25,000, you'll be charged 0.12% of that particular trade value. These values are automatically calculated and applied by Commsec when you go to buy and sell shares. There are other costs here that I've never had to deal with in my 5 years of using Commsec. Effectively, these costs are essentially to do with if you're linking your settlement to another bank account of your choice, buying shares over the phone, or using deceased estates or third parties to trade shares, in which case it obviously costs more money. So for example, if you wanted to buy trades over the phone as opposed to just executing it on the Commsec platform, which is the top row, you would be paying these fees respectively, which are obviously a lot higher than these fees, simply because they have to employ someone to execute trades on your behalf. Okay, now we've got that out of the way. The next thing we'll look at is the settlement period. It's important that you have a very good understanding of what the Commsec settlement period means, because this will have big ramifications if you don't have the available money when you go to execute a particular trade. What Commsec has is a 2-day settlement, or what they refer to as T+2. T+2 is a process whereby if you execute a trade on a Monday, the money isn't deducted from your account straight away. It's actually deducted from your account 2 business days later. So the money is taken out of the CDIA account on the Wednesday. If you bought shares, for example, on the Friday, then the money will be taken out of the CDIA account on the Tuesday. So remember, it's 2 business days. Again, you bought shares on the Thursday, that would mean the money would come out on the Monday as well. It is important to note though that with this, you can technically sell your shares before the settlement date on Wednesday. If you do that, then what they will do is they will effectively credit you the difference or deduct the difference. Let's say, for example, that I bought shares on the Monday for a total value of $10,000. I then on Tuesday go to sell those shares for a total value of $14,000. Most likely then on the Wednesday or the Thursday, I will only receive $4,000 in my bank account. As an example of these fees that you can see here with Commsec, let's say that you bought $10,000 worth of shares. So you'd have to pay Commsec $10,000 plus $20 in brokerage fees. So effectively paying $10,019.95. If you were to go on and sell those shares at $12,000, then you would be credited $12,000 minus $30 in applicable brokerage fees, because now the value of your shares is worth more than $10,000, and it's within this range here. What that means is that you'll have a total profit of $2,000 minus the brokerage that you've paid, which is now almost $50, me giving you a net profit of $1,950.10. Okay, so now we're ready to place a trade on Commsec. In order to place a trade on Commsec, we need to know the stock ticker code of that particular company that we want to buy or sell shares in. Every company that's listed on the ASX has its own unique 3-letter ticket number or ticket symbol. Let's say, for example, we want to buy BHP. If I wanted to buy shares in BHP, I'd click on up here and I'd search BHP. This is giving me BHP Group Limited, which is the name of the company, and the ASX code BHP. I click on that and it takes me through to this page here. On this screen here, we are provided with a whole bunch of information about BHP Group Limited. Up the top here, we've got the name of the company, the ASX code, and the sector that they are in, materials. We also have the last price of BHP in Australian dollars. In this instance, it's $41.25. Below that, we have how much that has changed from the previous trading day's closing price. What that means is that for today, BHP climbed 33 cents compared to the value that it was the previous day. That change is an increase of 0.81%. To the right of this, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we don't really need to worry about, but below that, we've got summary, announcements, charts, dividends, recommendations, and so forth. The only thing that you really need to worry about here in this menu bar is most likely the announcements. If you click on the announcements, what this will do is it will give you a list of all of BHP's recent company announcements to the ASX. These announcements could include things like their dividend distributions for the year, as well as their full financial year results as well. Commsec will tell you whether these updates are also market sensitive by giving each announcement a market sensitive notification or not. What market sensitive means is that the announcement that BHP is making to the public and the ASX could potentially impact the price of the BHP stock. For example, they recently released to the market an announcement that there was a merger with Woodside Petroleum, or this other example where they provided a preliminary final financial year report. If you want to have a more in-depth view of the chart, you can click on charts here, and this will present you the price of BHP over the specified time period that you want. In this instance, I can view the price of BHP over the last year, and I can also see there is a line here, which is the average line as well. The more hard jagged line is the actual day trading price of BHP, and it's showing me that the latest price is $41.25. If I scroll down more, there's volume. This effectively just indicates how many trades were executed on that particular day where there was buy or sells. So you can see up here that there was one particular day where 25 million shares in BHP were sold, and that almost always correlates with a drop in the share price of a company. Because we can see a lot of red here, that also means that BHP has dropped quite significantly recently. You can as well look at the dividends tab here. This will show you how much BHP has paid in dividends, and what this will do is it will give you a final and interim dividend type as well. Effectively, the difference between final and interim is when the dividends effectively get paid. Final dividend types are almost always larger than interim dividend types. For Australian companies, you also get franking credits, and in this case, the dividends are 100% franked, which gives you some tax benefits as well. It effectively means you pay less tax on the dividends that you receive from BHP. There is some more stuff that you can look at here, such as recommendations from professional research companies, including Goldman Sachs and Morningstar. I wouldn't recommend that you read these because they are very detailed reports and it will be difficult for you to understand them. I would, if you just have a chance, do your own research to understand a bit more about whether BHP may or may not be a good investment. There's some other things here like about, just effectively some details of the company, forecast and trends, potentially the forecasted earnings over the next few years, trade history, which is showing how much the share price has changed. Effectively, it's the same as the charts here. It just provides you with a full table, financials, and then derivatives. Don't worry about derivatives. That's only if you're buying options, which is not covered in today's video. Okay, so back on the summary page, this is really what we need to worry about when we go to buy and sell shares in BHP. Below the summary page, we have a table here which shows the number of buyers and the number of sellers. Buys here on the left-hand side are the number of buy orders for BHP. So we can see here that the top buy order is for 1,000 BHP shares, and the price to buy those shares is at $41.25. There are other people in the queue here that are wanting to buy BHP shares at a lower price than $41.25, such as, for example, $41.20 or $41.16. Because these buy orders are lower, they will appear further down in this table, and their trade will not get executed until these trades up here get executed first. All of this is happening sequentially. On the flip side of that, we have the sell orders. And what this is saying is that there are 2,500 shares someone is willing to sell for a price of $41.33. Again, this is at the top of the queue on the sell side because this is the cheapest sell price. What we can also see is that there are other shares that people are willing to sell in BHP, such as, for example, $41.50. And because that's more expensive than $41.33, it appears lower down in the sell order because this is only going to get executed once the cheaper shares are bought for. Just to the right of this, we have orders. Orders essentially provides you with some more in-depth data of the price chart here. So here we can see each volume of shares respectively at each respective price. Course of sales is effectively then a full trading list of each and every trade that was executed at this particular time. So for example, we can see earlier on in the day, maybe at 3:55 p.m., there was a price executed at $41.19 for 39 shares for a total value of $1,606. That means that someone bought the shares for this amount off someone who was selling the shares for that particular amount. So now that we're ready to buy and sell shares, we just click up here, buy, and what this will do is will now take me through to the place order shares box here. It will show you the account that you're wanting to buy the shares for and the order type that you want to have. Either you want to buy the shares or you want to sell the shares. You won't be able to sell any shares if you don't currently own any shares in BHP. So let's say in this case, I want to buy BHP shares. When I go to buy BHP shares, I'm provided with a quote for those particular shares. Quote on the right-hand side is displayed here. We're given the bid, the offer, and the last trade price. The bid is the amount of money that someone is willing to buy the shares for, and an offer is the lowest amount of money that someone is willing to sell the shares for. Last is when the shares were last traded at, and then some more information here that you don't need to worry about. Again, we've got that display of the buyers and sellers that was shown on the previous list of order executions. We already inputted the ASX ticker code, which is BHP, and we know that because it's got BHP Group Limited here. And then in this instance, all I need to do is select the number of shares that I want to buy. Let's say I want to buy 200 shares in BHP. In this case, I can either elect to buy 200 shares in BHP, or alternatively, I can select the total value of the trade that I'm willing to spend. In this case, I might only have $10,000 that I want to spend on these particular shares. Once I've done that, I then need to set my price limit, or alternatively, my order at market. What the price limit is the price of that particular share that you are willing to buy for. So let's say in this instance, I do want to go ahead and I want to buy 200 shares in BHP, but I don't want to pay the current price, which is $41.25. Instead, I want to pay $41.05. What that means is that when I go to place this order, I will have to pay a total amount of $8,229. But my trade will only get executed if someone is willing to sell to me their BHP shares, 200 BHP shares for $41.05. If no one is willing to sell me their shares for that amount of money, then my order won't get executed. I simply won't have any shares to buy, and therefore the trade doesn't get executed. That's why below here we have this expiry date. The expiry date is saying how long do I want to keep this order in the market for? And you can keep the expiry date on for quite a while. In this case, we can have it until next Monday, the 11th of October. And what that means is that my order for $41.05 will remain in the market until Monday at 4 p.m, in which case then the market closes. After that time, my order will cease and the trade won't get executed. You can select how long you want to keep the order in the market for by selecting the date in this calendar here. Alternatively, I can click on good for the day. And what that means is that when I'm executing this trade on a weekday, when the market is open between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m, if it gets to 4 p.m. Monday to Friday and the trade hasn't been executed, then I won't receive any shares. Alternatively, if someone is willing to sell me their shares at this price before the market closes, then the trade will get executed. Instead of setting a price limit, what you can do is instead clicking at market. And what this will do is it will give you an at market price for BHP, and your trade will be automatically processed at whatever the current market price is. That's effectively whatever the lowest sell offer price is, which in this case is $41.33. Because today isn't trading hours, we aren't provided with the total cost because we can't execute the trade outside of trading hours. If we did want to proceed though, we'd then click proceed, and then what it would then do is it would allow us to place the particular order. So let's say in this instance, I want to buy Robo, which is the ETF. What I can do is I'll input in the ticker code Robo, and it's going to give me the latest bid, offer, and last sale price. And I want to buy 190 shares. I'm then told that the order value is $16,929 plus a brokerage fee of $30, and then the total cost, which includes the order value and the brokerage cost, to be $16,958. Then I hit proceed and I execute the order. Now that I've placed an order for Robo, what I can do is I can now click back on the holdings part of my portfolio, and within this I can see my full list of shares that I currently own. On the left hand side here we have the code, in this case Robo, and we have the number of available units, which is 190 units that I currently own. It shows the purchase price and the last trading price of Robo and how much that has changed. Change dollar and the change percentage is calculated from the previous trading day's close. So again, what this is saying is I currently own 190 shares of Robo. I purchased those shares at this particular price, $91.15 per share, and the last traded price of Robo was $89.10. Today's change, it increased by 67 cents per share, and that change is a 0.76% increase. To the right of that, I've got my total profit and loss. The total loss that I've made on this Robo trade is $960.94. That means that overall, I'm down 5.37% as a loss. Current market value is how much my 190 Robo units are worth, and in this case, it's $16,929. And then finally, we have the value change dollar. This is how much they have increased in today in value as of raw dollars. So today, my Robo shares went up by $127.30. The other thing to note as well is that the total profit and loss section here of your share portfolio also takes into account how much you've paid in brokerage fees. So in this instance, whilst I'm down $960.94, this also includes the $30 in brokerage fees that I had to pay when buying 190 shares of the Robo ETF. What that means is that in order to return a total profit, I need to ensure that my trade value has increased to an amount that's beyond the original brokerage fee that I paid for them. These would have to increase in value by another $960. Lastly as well, whenever you go to check your share portfolio by logging into Commsec, you will see both today's change and your total profit and loss. Pretty self-explanatory, but this will show you how much your total portfolio has changed within that particular trading day, and this is showing you overall how much your portfolio is up or down. So that's it from me, guys. Leave a comment if you've got any questions regarding how you can buy or sell shares in Commsec. The only other thing to point out is that you can also create watch lists as well. Watch lists effectively allow you to have a record within Commsec of shares that you are interested in buying, and it allows you just to see their ongoing price in a single place. For example, I've got a watch list here of all of these ASX companies, including CBA, RMD, and ANZ, for example. These are companies that I've always been interested in buying in at some particular stage, and therefore as a result, I can create a watch list just to see what their price is doing. It saves me from having to manually search up CBA every time I want to see the price of CBA. So that's it for me, guys. Thanks again for watching, and leave any questions in the comments. Cheers.